President Donald Trump has announced the immediate termination of certain deportation protections, a move that could affect many immigrants across the country. His statement specifically targets Somali immigrants in Minnesota, claiming that the state has become a center for large-scale fraud and money laundering. The announcement, made through social media, has triggered fear, anger, and confusion within affected communities. Trump accused Minnesota under Governor Tim Walz of allowing massive financial abuse within social service programs. He claimed that money meant for vulnerable residents was being redirected through fraudulent schemes. According to his statement, some of these funds allegedly ended up supporting the Somali-based militant group Al-Shabaab. Federal investigators have uncovered multiple fraud cases involving housing aid, pandemic food programs, and autism therapy services. One of the largest cases involved false autism treatment claims worth millions of dollars. Authorities say services were billed for children who were never received any care, and in some cases never had autism at all. Prosecutors allege that these fraud networks drained billions of dollars from Minnesota's taxpayer-funded programs. Once the money was transferred abroad, investigators say a portion was intercepted by Al-Shabaab. Whether this transfer was intentional in every case remains unclear, but the financial trail has raised serious national security concerns. Minnesota is home to one of the largest Somali communities in the United States. While most Somali Americans are hardworking and law-abiding citizens, officials say a small group exploited weaknesses in government oversight. A former state fraud investigator, himself Somali American, publicly acknowledged that many recent major fraud cases involved defendants from within his community. One of the most shocking scandals was the Feeding Our Future case, now considered the largest COVID-era fraud in US history. More than 200 fake food distribution sites were set up across Minnesota. These sites claim to serve thousands of meals daily to children who, in many cases, never existed. In one example, a small restaurant in Minneapolis reportedly claimed to serve over 18,000 meals per day for months. Investigators later confirmed the numbers were impossible. Fake attendance logs, false invoices, and fraudulent reimbursements allowed millions of taxpayers' dollars to be stolen within little oversight. Federal authorities have now indicted more than 80 individuals across multiple fraud schemes. Some defendants have already received lengthy prison sentences. One convicted fraudster was sentenced to 10 years after stealing tens of millions of dollars tied to pandemic relief programs. Critics argue that Minnesota's political leadership failed to respond quickly enough due to fear of upsetting a powerful voting bloc. They claim warning signs were ignored as spending skyrocketed across social programs. In some cases, funding jumped from a few $million to hundreds of millions in just 2 years. Trump has used these revelations to justify his decision to revoke deportation protections. Supporters argue that national security and taxpayer protection require immediate action. Opponents, however, warn that innocent families may suffer for crimes committed by a small fraction of individuals. As investigations continue, federal authorities say more arrests are possible. The full financial scope of fraud is still being uncovered, but officials believe the losses could reach into the billions. The situation has reignited debate over immigration policy, government oversight, and whether political leaders will be held accountable for systematic failures.